trying to assess and comment concerning Jeremiah Kioni's allegation that Raila won by 57%. I have no capacity to know whether what he's telling is the truth or not. But I'll give him the benefit of doubt. Supposing it is true that Raila won with 57%, that is where the problem is. You see, the late President Mwai Kibaki, when somebody annoyed him, we would used to say that huyu ni mtu anatosha aletwe alalishwe chini achapwe viboko. If it is true that such an evidence is there, then those people in the line, starting from the whistleblower all the way to Kioni, are supposed to be taken to a stadium in an Islamic way. They lie down and then somebody whips them properly. What is the use? Okay. He was waving a one-page evidence. What was the use of bringing a canter full of pages, booklets and booklets, when the evidence was just in one page, the way Jeremiah Kioni was showing it out? Why didn't they just take that one page to evidence? That is one. Two, Raila, it is not the first time. I think he has formed that habit. Why is it that when he's called upon to give evidence to the Supreme Court, he withholds the evidence and gives up papers which are just good for lighting fire? And then when he is one of the people who fought for the 2010 Constitution, and it gave a timeline. Why doesn't he concentrate on a few points and then places it within the timelines? He has gone back to his, I don't know what he gains from using the same tricks again and again and expecting different answers. For example, he's now fighting that to have the servers opened. Is that not the problem which was there in 2017? It was server. It was server until there was a handshake. Then after handshake, he forgot everything. And this leads to creation, the story that all what he's doing is meant for a handshake of some sort. The time he wasted on BBI, and BBI, it was obvious. Those who saw my social pages that time had not entered the YouTube. They'll tell you that I was telling them from my word go, BBI would get nowhere. And it is very easy. Anybody, I've never been to a law school, but I've been to a law enforcement school, that is Kiganjo, where they just tell you a very simple thing. If the powers are given to you by the Constitution, you can donate them in written, that is Kenya Gazette, or if it has to be taken from you and given to somebody else, then what happens is that a constitutional change comes where on page 1 they talk of the powers. Let's say Electoral Commission has powers for boundary limitations. They would have written on page 1 that the powers of boundaries have been taken away from the IEBC. And then they would have gone to page 2 and said that the powers have been given to BBI. They did not take that. And then they expected that to pass through a constitutional court. And when I was talking to people, they were telling me, isn't Raila surrounded by PhDs in law? PhDs, and they do not, and me with my small law of senior training wing Kiganjo, I can see through that. So the time when Raila was supposed to use in having the servers of 2017 opened, he wasted time befriending Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and he came up with a mogril that was called BBI. What is the timing? They timed it to start this thing because, you know, in war, they say 48 laws of power. Me, I want to add to the 49th. Maybe it is among the 48 because I haven't crammed the 48. Is that always have secret weapons waiting. You see, when the president talked about starting an inquiry, when the president talked about attempted assassination of Chebukati, and the IBC went ahead and said that they are requesting that an inquiry be opened on what happened it was obvious from the Azimio side. You see, Azimio, after the president visited Nyanza, and Azimio knew that the president's pronunciation already, it shows that I don't see how Muchelule can find Masit innocent. And even if she's found innocent, she'll be one commission against 6. They are trying also to push for IPPG through coming up with these stories about new evidence being found. That is the real reason they are fighting for an IPPG. So these things about 57%, they had it, but when the president was going to Nyanza, Luo Nyanza, it came at such a time that if they would have been against the president going to Luo Nyanza, the president would have come up and decided not to develop that area. And the president used that chance that he had been to Luo Nyanza recently to come up with sweeping. So that is what happened. But you see, I don't know how he's going to win, because you can see Jubilee as a party, I don't want to use the word elected, because we have most of the Jubilee officials are nominated. We have Sabina Chegesh is nominated, Kanini Kega is nominated, but representatives also are in the legislative arm have already warmed up to the deputy president. So the way things are happening, the Kenya Kwanza are already streamlining to start off the IEBC afresh. I do not see a likelihood of a handshake for the president with Raila, but I'm seeing if I should advise Raila to retire. I should advise Raila to retire, because even the supposedly, you know, they are going to start fighting for the official leader of opposition, who will have a budget and so on. The president may use Raila. It is hard to have that constitutional change, but even if it is hard, even if it is 98% hard, the 2% is a possibility that it could go through. The president may use Raila to get that the constitutional changes. But once the constitution has been changed to have the office of official position with a budget and staff, it is quite likely that efforts will be made for Raila not to be the one to take that seat. It is a lose-lose situation too, Azimio and Raila, if you ask me. I think Raila should use other ways, but the best way Raila should use is to retire from politics as soon as yesterday, so as to have the opposition start grooming another person for the seat, to challenge, to groom, to become either the president or even be the Luo Nyanza leader. If Raila goes on this way, you know, the Ruto and others already know how to beat Raila. So if you give them as a stranger, maybe they'll have it rough. But if you are going to have Raila again the next time, well, you're doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results.